Right now, this morning, massive layoffs coming to the education department now. Half the workforce could be cut. Parents left asking what this means for schools. And new steel and aluminum tariffs now in effect, coming up when U.S. consumers will start feeling the impact.
How about some warmer conditions coming into the next few days as we carry over into Friday with record-breaking heat. And then we get into Friday night and Saturday, storms could be on the way. More about that in just a moment.
This is News 8 Now, this morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Alexandra Carter.
And I'm Art Jarrett.
It is Wednesday, March 12th. I'm happy to see it say warmer on there because the wind, it was a little chilly yesterday.
It was a little bit. It was a colder start, but then we're going to get into that warming condition, going to the 40s, 30s in the morning, things like that. Then we get into the 50s and 60s going into the next couple of days, and then 60s and 70s getting into Friday with record-breaking heat on the way. That'll continue on as we get into your local forecast, though. There's a little bit of light snow up to the north. That's going to get out of the way briefly as we go through the next couple of hours here, and then eventually we get into current temperatures, and you're looking at numbers from 34 to at least maybe down to 29 as you get down to Prairie du Chien. It's kind of funny how it's warmer up to the north now, and it's colder down to the south. That's this time of year for you as you get into it right now, holding on to conditions that are going to warm you up gradually. 30s, then the 40s and the 50s pop into the picture. We could see at least 55 degrees for today for La Crosse, getting to near there. How about this? Eau Claire will hold on to conditions again in the 30s and the 40s, bumping you back up to around 52 degrees or so for a possible high coming in around 3 o'clock. Maybe by 4 o'clock it may get a little bit warmer. Then we're also looking for Wednesday's highs for everybody else included, 50 to about 60 degrees down to the south. When I come back, I'll give you an overview of how this all shapes up for your day, so please stick around. More to come.
Thank you, Art. Happening today, President Trump welcomes Irish leaders to the White House as new trade tariffs and massive government job cuts loom. CBS News' Jared Hill reports.
Major downsizing at the Department of Education. Today, offices nationwide are shuttered, with the agency announcing more than 1,300 people are being fired.
It's going to have enormous consequences to families across the country.
It's a step in President Donald Trump's promise to dismantle the department.
We have a bloated, very dishonest, in many cases, federal government and bureaucracy.
Also today, President Trump's 25% tariffs on all imported steel and aluminum kick in.
The tariffs are going to be throwing off a lot of money to this country, and we've been ripped off for years by other countries.
The move has support from many domestic steel and aluminum makers, but the head of the Can Manufacturers Institute says consumers will eventually take a hit.
How long will it take for people to feel the impacts of these tariffs?
The impacts will probably be felt in the next 60 to 90 days as we buy more steel and aluminum, and as those containers are filled with food and beverages.
Trade uncertainty sent markets tumbling again Tuesday. The U.S. Commerce Secretary.
The markets are going to learn. Let the deal maker make his deals.
A breakthrough on one deal. Ukraine says it'll accept a 30-day U.S. brokered ceasefire with Russia.
We'll take this offer now to the Russians, and we hope that they'll say yes.
The U.S. has pledged to unfreeze Ukrainian military aid and intelligence sharing in response.
And this morning, the European Union announcing it will carry out retaliatory measures as well against the U.S. steel and aluminum tariffs. Those will start April 1st. The EU measures will cover steel and aluminum as well as textiles, home appliances, and agricultural products. Meanwhile, over on Capitol Hill, a win for the president last night. The GOP House narrowly passing a spending bill aimed at averting a partial government shutdown Friday. The fate of the measure now lies with the Senate. And the Trump administration now investigating 60 universities for potential anti-Semitic discrimination. UW-Madison is on that list. The Education Department is warning schools that they could lose federal funding if they fail to protect Jewish students, they say. The probe started after a surge of complaints following the Hamas attack on Israel. Last week, Columbia University lost $400 million in grants for similar inaction. La Crosse mayoral candidates Chris Calo and Shondell Washington Spivey debate tonight, hosted by the League of Women Voters. That'll start at 6 p.m. at UWL's Cleary Alumni Center. Doors open at 5:15 with audience questions welcome. You can find more information on the League of Women Voters website. Democrat Rebecca Cook is running a third time for Wisconsin's 3rd congressional district. Last fall, she lost to the incumbent Congressman Derek Van Orden by just over 11,000 votes. Her campaign targets big drug prices, housing challenges, and what she calls Washington's chaos.
Family farms are continuing to fold. Healthcare access and affordability, especially with our 2 big hospital closures here in Eau Claire, continue to create a gap in our healthcare system here in western Wisconsin. And women's reproductive freedoms, frankly, are still very much under attack.
The Wisconsin Republican Party firing back. State Chairman Brian Schimming calling her a 2-time loser and says western Wisconsin voters will again reject her campaign. The man accused of firing 3 shots at an Onalaska apartment will head to court today. 54-year-old Kevin McDowell is charged with reckless use of a firearm after an incident about 2 weeks ago. The 911 caller told police they heard an argument outside in the parking lot on Braun Street before the gunfire. Responding police allegedly found McDowell acting erratically, which they say was not the first time over the span of a few days. A man accused of a violent Thanksgiving Day stabbing will be sentenced later today. 45-year-old George Solis is facing first-degree attempted intentional homicide charges. He's accused of stabbing a victim while his family watched football, then also allegedly trying to stab a family member who tried to intervene. His sentencing starts at 9 a.m. We are learning more this morning about a house fire in Tomah that destroyed a home and killed a cat. Firefighters say they were called to a porch fire on the 1200 block of Stoughton Avenue just after 2 p.m. yesterday. Heavy flames could be seen as crews arrived. A dog was rescued from the upper level. The cause of the fire still under investigation this morning. 2 22-year-olds are under arrest after allegedly damaging property at a church near the town of Hamburg. Emmett Price Rathert and Kiatlin Wu were taken into custody after police found them in a vehicle matching a witness description. Neither has been formally charged at this time. Police are still searching for a license plate believed to be associated with the vehicle. In a newly released report, the NTSB is revealing alarming new details about the deadly mid-air collision near Ronald Reagan Washington Airport. The agency found more than 15,000 near-miss events on that same approach between October 2021 and December 2024. Nearly 2/3 of those incidents occurred at night. While not identifying the crash's probable cause, the NTSB's chair said these incidents should have been noticed well before the collision.
It shouldn't take a tragedy like this to occur. Unfortunately, one did, and so we are calling on action, but there clearly were indicators where safety trending could have occurred.
The FAA agreed to institute restrictions on helicopter routes near Reagan Airport, including preventing helicopters from taking that same route when planes are landing. The numbers are out and traffic deaths are on the rise in La Crosse County. News 8 Now's Grace Monk takes a closer look at the numbers, what's behind them, and how the county plans to act.
2024, La Crosse County had 3,485 car accidents. In 2023, that number was 3,355. The accidents resulted in 734 injuries and 8 fatalities. That's the most fatalities in La Crosse County since 2021.
43% of all of the fatalities were involved in impaired driving. And then 14% of all serious injuries also involved impaired driving.
Speeding and distracted driving also contributed to the increase.
The 55 or the interstate, where people seem to think that they can exceed that and aren't able to manage the speed that they're going.
In the past 10 years, we did have 4 pedestrians that were fatally struck.
Over the next year, the county will work on a comprehensive safety action plan.
It relies heavily on the data analysis piece of it, of where those locations are, but then some predictive analysis of where could we expect some of these more crashes to occur, to focus on priority areas.
According to the sheriff's office, most of the county's accidents occur along Highway 16 and Highway 53. The county expects the safety action plan to be ready in May 2026. Grace Monk, News 8 Now this morning.
A major road reconstruction could be coming to La Crosse. The Common Council set to vote this week on a plan to reconstruct State Road from Losee Boulevard to the city's eastern border. That roughly will cost $800,000, and it aims to address deteriorating road conditions, city officials say. It's expected to be part of the city's 2026 to 2030 capital improvement plan. The Agriculture Department is cutting two key programs that support local farmers and schools. One program provided $660 million for school food. The cuts will suspend more than $1 billion in federal spending. The Iowa Food System Coalition is among those already speaking out against the Trump administration cut. If you live in Viroqua, the school district is looking for your input as they look for a new superintendent. Tom Burkhalter plans to leave after 5 years. Now, an online survey is asking residents what qualities they want to see in a new administrator. That is due by Friday. This comes as Viroqua Schools seeks a $2.6 million referendum. And Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers stopped by UWL yesterday, speaking about supporting campus projects, specifically finishing the Prairie Springs Science Center and replacing the outdated Cowley Hall. The governor's latest budget proposal will invest $856 million into the UW system over the next 2 years.
Whether it's, in the science area or preparing our next group of teachers that are going to be teaching our kids, it is all about making our state strong economically and every other way. University of Wisconsin system does that and does it really well.
If Evers' UW investment plan happens, it'll be the biggest increase in the system in state history. Time now is 6:10. Still ahead on your morning news. Job openings in January predicting an optimistic start of the year. New steel and aluminum tariffs are now in effect, and airplane crashes are leaving consumers reluctant to fly. And stocks are dropping, and your money is on the line. We break down what the market downturn means for your investments. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. A Girl Scout milestone today. 113 years ago, the first troop started in Savannah, Georgia, with just 18 girls. Now, more than 1.1 million girls are part of the iconic organization. The group launching the careers of 3 former female secretaries of state and many NASA astronauts. And as you start to wake up this morning, leaving you with a quick wake-up call with the city that is home to the world's largest ant farm. That is Charlotte, North Carolina, looking nice as the sun comes up. Stay with us. Your morning consumer news is after the break.
It's the 10-pound mega March sale at Holman Locker and Meat Market. Save on ground beef, chicken breast, and chuck roast. Please call to order. Holman Locker and Meat Market, your place for fresh, quality, local meat.
For over 25 years, Window World's provided quality products for homeowners around the country, including windows and doors. Every window we sell is custom made for optimal energy efficiency and superior durability. Plus, a vinyl finish means they'll never need painting. Just like our windows, entry doors from Window World are made to last, featuring a durable fiberglass construction that provides up to 4 times the insulation value of wood. When it comes time for new windows or doors, trust America's exterior remodeler. Trust Window World.
It's tournament time at Osseo Automotive, and the savings are giant. And so is the selection.
Get a giant $12,000 off a new Ford F-150 XLT Crew Cab, or $11,000 off a new 2024 Ford Expedition Max XLT, or $7,000 off a new 2024 Ford Escape.
You'll never see anything this big again. The giant tournament sale is going on now at Osseo Ford, Nelson Gunderson Chevrolet, Fountain City Ford, and Rudy's in Whitehall.
Dental implants are often the best solution to severe dental issues. If you have infection in your mouth, it does cause trouble other places. A lot of people ignore infection for way too long. And when they finally do something about it, they say not only do they like what they did here, but they feel better overall. In the end, you can have a smile you're proud of and a very healthy mouth.
We're an implant-focused practice. If you think you have a full mouth of challenges, come see us. Come down for a free consultation.
When my sister was murdered 15 years ago, Brad Schimmel kept his promise to us. He told us he was going to get us justice, and he did. When I see these commercials attacking him, I have a lot to say about that, because Brad would kneel next to my mom and hold her hands. And you're gonna tell me that's a person that doesn't care about victims? I'm sorry, that is not true. Brad puts victims first, and that's the type of person that should be in the Wisconsin Supreme Court.
A new walk-in shower, safe and convenient.
A beautiful new entry door.
A lovely pergola or patio cover.
New windows that wow.
Your dream kitchen.
New siding to transform your home from old to new.
Whatever your plans, the 27th Annual Early Bird Home Show, only at the Board Store, brings you all of these at the lowest price of the year.
Visit our 8-building showroom on Copeland Avenue in La Crosse. Visit our website.
Call 608-782-8877.
The 27th Annual Early Bird Home Show, only at the Board Store. Don't miss it.
Holman Locker and Meat Market, your place for fresh, quality, local meat. Stock up with our spring meat bundle, which includes drummies, ground beef, chicken, steaks, brats, ribs, and pork chops. Holman Locker and Meat Market, and much, much more.
All right, well, good morning to you. As we get into your local forecast, we'll start off with La Crosse getting into some clearing skies this early morning. We'll get briefly back into at least mostly clear skies to start the morning and then get into the afternoon as well. 30 degrees for your day today, getting up about 56 degrees or so for your high, possibly around the 3 o'clock hour. Mild day ahead for you. Then we carry over to Eau Claire where you're looking at 30 degrees as well. We have at least partly cloudy skies working into your forecast, getting into mostly cloudy skies in some cases as well, as you have some passing clouds up there right now, so coming and going. Once you get into the afternoon, though, you're looking at a mild afternoon at 53 degrees for you. We'll get into the afternoon for everybody else, though, holding on to widespread 50s, extending down to the low 60s as well today. You've got those few AM clouds getting into partly cloudy skies with some sunnier skies coming in for Thursday. 59 widespread 60s here as you get into your forecast as we get into Thursday. Man, it's pretty nice, right? Then we get into Friday where you're seeing record-breaking heat coming to the picture. This just made me feel better, right? You get into 69 degrees, 71 as you get into Eau Claire, Winona 75 as well as La Crosse, 73 in Viroqua. And then as we go into your forecast, you've got the potential for record-breaking temperatures. It looks like La Crosse is possible to do that. And of course, Eau Claire, well, you may fall a little short, but it's still possible with a good-looking day ahead for you. More about this coming up for you in a second when I return, so please stick around.
In your consumer news, the latest snapshot of job openings shows there were more than 7.7 million available positions in January. That is up from December 7.5 million. The number signals renewed optimism from U.S. employers to start the year and provides a critical baseline for labor market activity as President Trump began to enact those sweeping policy changes. Two airlines say fear of flying is pushing ticket sales down in the wake of all of those crashes. Delta CEO says 2 crashes are likely at least partly behind the travel pullback airlines are seeing this year. Meanwhile, the CEO of American says his airline's crash was a major factor in reduced revenue forecasts for the quarter. He said his airline's focus now is solely to take care of the families of those victims. New 25% tariffs on all aluminum and steel imports start today, potentially hiking some prices for American consumers. The U.S. imported more than $58 billion worth of aluminum, steel, and iron last year. Many economists predict companies will pass on part or all of the added cost to consumers, and auto prices could go up. Home builders say tariffs have shaken their industry already. Prices could also rise for appliances, infrastructure, medical devices, beverage cans, and more. As those stocks tumble, some might be worried about their financial future. News 8 Now's Allison Fergus spoke with a local financial expert about what we should know during these turbulent times.
Something that's on everyone's mind is trying to find that economic security.
As the stock market dips, anxiety is growing around the economy.
Market declines are unpleasant for everyone.
Jan Arsenal, TrustPoint's chief investment officer, says during declines like this, people have a tendency to rethink their investment goals and portfolios.
They should just stay put and be patient and stay disciplined.
While he recognizes these declines can be nerve-wracking, he says there's no reason to panic yet.
If you look historically, markets have corrected on average by about 10% per year.
He says the worst thing to do if you're worried is to make drastic changes to your portfolio. The best thing to do? Talk to an expert.
If you're working with a financial advisor, talk to your financial advisor. If you have a financial plan in place, that may be a good time to review your plan to make sure it still aligns with your long-term goals.
Despite the market falls, there are some stocks that are safer to bet on.
We typically see the more defensive sectors and industries performing better.
That could consist of utilities, healthcare, and consumer staples. Arsenault says it's hard to say whether we are heading toward a recession, but he gave some general signals to watch out for.
Capital expenditure, consumption, retail sales, employment would be all components that are important to determine if the economy is going in the wrong direction.
Reporting in La Crosse, Allison Fergit, News 8 Now, This Morning.
And he also says now is a good time to invest in international companies for more stability. That's a look at your consumer news. We'll send it over now to Art. He's got a look at our weather.
Oh boy, and away we go. I'm not too happy about this one. Well, first of all, I'm happy about the warmth we're getting, but you're going to see in a second once I get into it here. Sunrise today, you're looking at 30s widespread here, maybe a 29-degree down there when you get to Winona, holding on to that over in Marshfield as well. And once you get into the noon hour, you've got this cloud cover kind of streaking through by Eau Claire and Ladysmith. That'll get out of the way. Temperatures in the 40s. Then we carry over into the 4 o'clock hour, potential highs in the forecast. Well, 48 to about maybe 55 degrees, maybe a wee bit more today, so we're about on the mild side, right? We'll carry over all the way into the 9 o'clock hour where you're seeing more clouds coming in from the north. That continues to filter in, so we'll get at least mostly clear skies as we go into the overnight to partly cloudy conditions. And once we get through Thursday in the morning hours, we get past sunrise, getting into at least 40s widespread to the low 50s down to the south. Then we'll pick up by the time we get into the highs, 57 to about, say, 63, 64, 65 degrees possible in the forecast. Then we have those clouds coming back again, all different directions. It means we're getting to cloudy conditions. That means we're having inclement weather on the way. Highs for Thursday, where you're looking at 59 to about 60s. You get that widespread all the way through the forecast there. Mostly sunny skies to partly cloudy conditions. Can't complain about that. Then by the time we get into Friday, warmth, record-breaking heat potential coming in the forecast. 75 for La Crosse, 71 for Eau Claire, 69 Ladysmith, Prairie du Chien, 75 degrees, Bosco about 77 degrees. Then record-breaking heat starts to work in. Here's a couple of possibilities here as we get into it. Possible for La Crosse, looks pretty good there for a tie at least. Getting into Eau Claire, they may fall short, but it looks like I think we may even get a little extra warming. And then this is what I'm talking about. I'm not too happy about this. We've got a bullseye on us here. Fortunately, it's not an enhanced risk, which is further down to the south, which is really dangerous, but we have a slight risk for severe weather. We've got all up to Eau Claire where you're getting into at least a marginal risk for severe weather. That continues on where we get the system starting up by Friday. It's mostly starting in the overnight hours, getting in evening hours and nighttime, getting into Saturday, where the potential for this is mixing in with all that rain and snow, I should say rain, and working across the area, kind of sweeping away from us. We've got snow coming in the forecast, possibly kind of stretching in. It's in Nebraska, trying to get closer. As it gets closer, getting into Minnesota, we can see that start to work closer to areas right by the northern portion of our forecast area up to Eau Claire and La Crosse. You can see that trying to get down to the ground as we get into Saturday, finishing out by Sunday with a little bit of snow on the ground. That's how it looks out right now. Then we carry over to how this all shapes up going into the next few days. As I mentioned before, you're going to see conditions to get into increasing heat as we go into the next few days, carrying over into Friday where temperatures are up to 75 degrees. We start to cool on down with more 60s in the forecast, down to 40s, leading into a temperature for 55 degrees for your St. Patrick's Day. Back to you, Alexandra.
All right, Art, thank you. Well, spring pollen got you down. We've got some strategies to help you breathe easy and fight back against these spring allergies after the morning sports blitz.
Coming up in the Blitz, a couple Badgers named to the all-conference teams, plus the UWL men still alive in the NCAA D3 tournament. Hear from a couple players as they prepare for the next game on Friday.
The install, there's several different ways to go about it. Service it, repair it, replace it, upgrade it, and we'll go down, do the work, clean up, make sure everything's working. Then there's some time with the customer where we'll explain to them, show them what we got done for them.
Style or substance. Somehow, it became one or the other. But there is another choice. Not stopping until you have everything in the GMC Sierra. Or get 0% APR on select Sierra 1500 models. That's over $5,600 in average finance savings. We are professional grade.
Hey, I went to the new place. They didn't have everything, but the bananas were on sale.
Wait, Why didn't you go to Woodman?
Hi, we're the Woodmans. I'm Clint. I'm Phil. Other stores promote a few items but charge more for everything else. At Woodmans, you save big time money on your whole grocery bill.
I even use the app to compare prices.
Oh my gosh, talk about receipt regret. Our work here is done.
Service and savings. It's Woodman's.
Where there's a flooded basement, musty crawl space, or wood rot, there's an answer. American Waterworks. For more than 30 years, American Waterworks has been solving homeowners' toughest waterproofing problems. Schedule your free inspection and estimate today.
Get solar and get saving with Olson Solar Energy.
The biggest thing I want to get across to people, whether it's via email or voicemail or text, is we are a local Wisconsin family-owned turnkey solar company.
We have project managers that will walk you through the process, keep you informed along the way, and make sure that the communication is the best that it can be.
All the financial benefits are awesome. And then on top of that, it's green energy. How can you lose?
The install, there's several different ways to go about it. Service it, repair it, replace it, upgrade it, and we'll go down, do the work, clean up, make sure everything's working. Then there's some time with the customer where we'll explain to them, show them what we got done for them.
Welcome to the Blitz. Well, it has been a magical season for the UW La Crosse men's basketball team. Eagles just one of 16 teams remaining with a realistic chance of becoming a national champion. Over the weekend, UWL soared past Greenville and then grinded out a win against St. Norbert to punch their ticket to the second weekend of the Big Dance. The Eagles have already made history as they've set a record for wins in a season, along with having never made it to this stage of the tournament. But the chance to keep adding to their legacy is just one of the major factors that's keeping them energized and inspired.
It's easy to, kind of lose motivation, lose focus at the end of the year, and kind of look ahead. But right now, everyone's locked in. We're guarding really well. I think this weekend we defended really well, especially. But everyone's just kind of, bringing their A game every day and understanding what's at stake. And I think when you do that as a team, it can be really special. And we have a chance to do something really special right now.
And the Eagles are not running away from the pressure. They are rather embracing it because the guys know that this team is capable of amazing things, and their belief in one another is strong.
Coming into practice Monday, I think just kind of understanding what we're doing is the first time ever in school history, and riding that wave, but also understanding that we've put a lot of work since September with conditioning and all that, and that's kind of why we're here, understanding that the confidence comes from preparation, so there's no reason for us not to be confident.
UW La Crosse will be back in action on Friday at 7 o'clock, taking on 9th-ranked Illinois Wesleyan. That game being held on campus at Mitchell Hall. Well, the Big Ten Conference announcing their postseason honors yesterday, and John Tonje was named to the first team. Tonje has taken his game to a whole new level this season, averaging 18.9 points per game, just over 5 rebounds per contest. He's the first All-Big Ten first-team honoree since Johnny Davis back in 2022. Meanwhile, John Blackwell, the Badgers' second leading scorer at 15.6 per game, was named to the honorable mention team following his All-Big Ten freshman team campaign a season ago. Wisconsin will wrap up action tomorrow against the winner of Minnesota and Northwestern. That'll do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
When you have a drain backup, you need help fast. From slow drains to clogged mains, we solve it all. Maxwell White has been solving sewer, septic, and drain issues in the La Crosse Coulee region for more than 30 years. Fast, reliable, and professional. Call or book online today.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 715-469-6907. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 715-469-6907. Again, that's 715-469-6907.
The Silverado Trail Boss.
work. And a little play. And a truck that says no to nothing. And Chevrolet.
It's Chevy Truck Month. Well-qualified buyers can get 2.9% financing for 72 months on this Silverado. Or get $4,350 total value. Plus, current Chevy owners can get $4,000 total cash allowance when you trade in an eligible vehicle.
Make winter fun for your family with Mount Lacrosse. Season passes are on sale. Buy now through next season and ski the rest of this season for free. For 65 years, Mount Lacrosse has been making winter fun. Now's your time to come and see what it's all about. Stop out or visit us online to get your season pass today. Sale ends March 16th.
These are real people seeking solutions to real pain.
I have plantar fasciitis.
My feet, my knees, hips, and back.
And then they were fit with Good Feet arch supports. Clinically proven. Significant pain relief in only 4 weeks.
I'm not feeling any pain. My heel, that's where I always feel it.
Pressure off your knees?
Yeah, actually. I didn't notice any pain in my back. I feel like I could walk all day in these.
Take back the life you love and book your personalized arch support fitting today.
Slow or clogged sink, toilet, or main drain? Maxwell White can help. Ask about our $99 mainline drain opening special. Includes a free camera inspection. Address the root problem now to avoid costly repairs or future damage. Call or book online today.
Miss a story or need to watch it again? Find them all on the News 8 Now app. Thank you for watching News 8 Now. Expect more.
In your morning medical news, measles cases in the South continuing to rise this morning. The Texas Department of Health now says that state has 223 cases at least. That is 25 more than what was reported last week. At least 29 of those patients had to be hospitalized. Last month, an unvaccinated 6-year-old died. New Mexico also recently reported 30 cases of measles. Officials haven't confirmed if there's a connection between the two state outbreaks. A new poll shows how younger Americans are experiencing peak stress earlier than anyone. The survey of 2,000 adults found that most people burn out around 42. For Gen Z and millennial adults, though, now 18 to 44, the highest point of their stress happens much younger at 25. When they were asked what's causing burnout, most people said finances, followed by politics, work, and their physical health. Spring is just around the corner. Some may be looking forward to the flowers and warmer weather, but if you're one of the millions of Americans who suffer from seasonal allergies, you may be dreading this time of year. Experts say you can help lessen the impact, though. Mandy Gaither speaks with an allergist about what to do now to prepare for spring allergy season.
It's that time of year again. The flowers, the sun, the pollen.
If you wait until you start to have symptoms, those allergy cells are already starting to get unhappy.
That's why allergist Dr. Christopher Brooks with the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center says if you're one of the millions who suffer from spring allergies, prepare now to lessen and even prevent some symptoms before they get out of control. He says to begin using sprays. Saline can help clear the nasal passages, and a steroid nasal spray can help reduce inflammation.
Some of the generics are things like fluticasone or mometasone. So starting 1 or 2 sprays per nostril every day, a week before symptoms start, will be a great place to start.
If sprays aren't for you, Brooks says to start a long-acting antihistamine pill before symptoms start. And once pollen is in the air, check pollen forecasts, limit outdoor time at peak pollen time, continue taking allergy medications, especially ones prescribed to you, and practice good hygiene like washing hands and showering after being outside.
If they're keeping you from sleeping or keeping you from, living your fullest quality of life, I think it's a great idea to talk to your doctor, whether your primary care doctor or allergist, to look for next steps to help you make you feel better.
The CDC says to lessen the impact of seasonal allergies by changing clothes after you're outside, keep your windows closed, and use high-efficiency air filters in your home. Wisconsin lawmakers are considering a bill to eliminate daylight saving time, keeping the state on standard time year-round. 2 Green Bay area Republicans say the change would improve public safety, mental health, and economic stability. Legislators have until March 19th to sign the bill. This season, you can catch Brewers games here on News 8 Now. 3 spring training and 10 regular season games will be broadcast. The home opener against the Kansas City Royals will be on 8.1, and select Tuesday night games throughout the regular season will be on 8.2. You can find the full broadcast schedule on our digital platforms. A mission to bring home 2 stranded astronauts is set to launch today. Yes, we're talking about Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams. They've been stuck at the International Space Station since last June. Now a new crew will lift off around 7:30 tonight. NASA has not yet confirmed when Wilmore and Williams will return to Earth, but Wilmore recently suggested it could be as soon as next week. Wow, I wonder what the first thing they'll do when they're back is. An aviation pioneer is gearing up to fly nonstop around the world in a hydrogen-powered plane. The mission is all about clean energy, as CBS's Tina Kraus reports.
Bertrand Piccard is no stranger to the skies. This aircraft hangar in France is his workshop, where he's looking to revolutionize the flight industry with this hydrogen-powered plane.
And the goal is to fly 9 days around the world, non-stop, and produce 0 emissions.
In a world dominated by planes that run on fossil fuels, the Swiss climate activist is promoting a cleaner flight path.
We take green hydrogen, that means hydrogen that is produced through renewable electricity, liquefy this hydrogen, and put it into huge fuel tanks.
Those tanks power Climate Impulse, a 2-seater plane with the wingspan of an Airbus 320, designed to fly for 9 days straight. This isn't Piccard's first foray into the future of flight. Back in 2015, his Solar Impulse aircraft that runs on sunlight made history by flying around the world, but it wasn't practical for commercial aviation. Piccard says his hydrogen plane is, and flies at altitudes that can harness energy from turbulence in the atmosphere.
And I believe that the airlines are also in the future going to use the same type of energy from the atmosphere in order to save fuel and to be more efficient.
A test flight is set for next year to see if the technology can help clear the runway for cleaner, greener travel.
Pushing the limits of aviation runs in Piccard's DNA. His grandfather was a legendary physicist who made record-breaking hydrogen balloon flights back in the 1930s. We'll send it over now to meteorologist Art Jarrett. He's got a look at our morning commute.
All right, how about that, though, as we get into it? We're looking at here, let's look on Alaska. Looking pretty good for your commute home or to work, wherever you're going. You're also looking at 32 degrees out there. That's how it feels like on your skin. Then we take you right back over to Menominee. Roadways are looking pretty good for that travel as well. 32 degrees out there, feels like 32 degrees out on your skin with 80% humidity. How about this, though? Picking up a little bit of cloud cover to go through the morning hours. We'll get into some sunshine to finish out your day, looking at a high about maybe 57 degrees possibly. And as we go into Eau Claire, you're doing the same with a little extra cloud cover, though, 30s, 40s, 50s, getting around, say, about 54 degrees for your high today. Looking pretty good for you. Kids going to school, 30 degrees to start this early morning. Cold start there for La Crosse, getting into 56 degrees in the afternoon for those kids going on home there. And of course, more sunshine still holding on for you after a morning of partly cloudy skies. Highs for Wednesday, well, we're looking at everybody else getting into low 50s all the way up to the upper 50s, so widespread there to the low 60s in your forecast, mixing in and out of clouds as we go along through the day. Thursday is going to be much warmer, looking at upper 50s to the widespread 60s in your forecast, getting into partly to mostly cloudy skies as well. But we get record-breaking heat coming in for Friday. I'm really excited about that going into the forecast. As we finish out the possibility of some record-breaking heat for some locations, I think it's going to be kind of filling up the board with that as well. Get out and enjoy that if you can. Back to you.
Before we head to break, it's time to look at today's Look Who's 8.
All right, Layla's turning 8 months. She loves spending time with her older 2 sisters with, again, new food and playing outside.
All right, Faith is turning 8. She loves fashion, music, horseback riding, and helping out with her baby sister. If you know a special someone turning 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88, we'd love to feature them.
That's right. Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab on our website.
Coming up, get ready for a wee bit of Irish fun. We'll speak live with Terry Bisker about this weekend's Celtic Stories and Songs event.
It's the 10-pound mega March sale at Holman Locker and Meat Market. Save on ground beef, chicken breast, and chuck roast. Please call to order. Holman Locker and Meat Market, your place for fresh, quality, local meat.
It was just a one-time thing. That's what Brad Schimmel said when he gave a, quote, sweet bargain to a man who sexually assaulted a 10-year-old girl. The sex predator served just 18 months in prison for his crime and got out. A few weeks ago, he was convicted of sexually assaulting a child again. And that was just one time Brad Schimmel let a sex predator loose on our kids. So why would we ever give him another chance? Brad Schimmel, too extreme for the Supreme Court.
Searching for gold at the end of the rainbow? Well, you can find it here at the King Furniture St. Patrick's Day sale. Get Shamrock with savings up to 60% off, plus 0% free financing, recliners, sofas, sectionals, and more. It's all here and it's all in stock and ready to be delivered. Plus, shop special savings in our incredible Lazy Boy Showcase. Let the shenanigans begin at the King Furniture St. Patrick's Day sale. Don't miss it.
It's hard to explain what this feels like. Moving piles of earth, towing up to 4,000 pounds, cutting millions of blades of grass. We could keep trying to put it into words, but nothing compares to experiencing it for yourself. You just have to get in the seat.
Visit Tractor Central, take a seat, and see for yourself why nothing runs like a deer. Start now at TractorCentral.com.
I'm Sheriff Todd Skarbin with an important message. Wisconsin law enforcement works extremely hard to keep you safe. So when liberal judges like Susan Crawford refuse to actually punish violent criminals, it undermines our entire system. She gave only 4 years to a guy who raped a 6-year-old, 2 years for a guy who beat his girlfriend and shot a man, and only 90 days for a guy who strangled a woman. We need judges to prioritize public safety. Liberal Judge Susan Crawford doesn't.
Tell Judge Crawford to stop releasing dangerous criminals.
Come to the 27th Annual Early Bird Home Show. Lowest prices of the year.
Windows, doors, patio doors, lowest price of the year.
Bath remodels, kitchen remodels, lowest prices of the year.
Pergolas, decks, or sunrooms, lowest price of the year.
Siding, trim, or gutters, lowest prices of the year.
27th Annual Early Bird Home Show, only at the Board Store, 524 Copen Avenue, La Crosse. TheBoardStoreOnline.com or call 608-782-8877.
Holman Locker and Meat Market, your place for fresh, quality, local meat. Stock up with our spring meat bundle, which includes drummies, ground beef, chicken, steaks, brats, ribs, and pork chops. Holman Locker and Meat Market, and much, much more.
All right, well, good morning to you. Right back to how this all shapes up for the day going into tomorrow as well. We'll go right through sunrise, holding on to 30s widespread, 29 or 2 in there as well. We'll get that snow out of the way, tracks out of the way, a few more clouds sneaking through the forecast area up to the north between Ladysmith and Eau Claire. Then we get out of those 40s and back into the 50s. You have an upper 40 up there by Eau Claire there, I should say by La Crosse. How about that? Ladysmith, I haven't had my coffee yet, believe it or not, and we're also getting into at least 55 degrees down to the south. We'll hold on to, again, partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies for the day as we finish out going into the evening as well. Then we'll see those clouds increase on us back to mostly cloudy conditions up to the north. Then we'll go right back into the morning where you're seeing sunrise temperatures back in the 30s. One more time, those low to middle 30s in the forecast. Lifting up some of that cloud cover, we get into mostly sunny skies from the south, working northward there, holding on to a little bit of cloud cover for Ladysmith. And then that finishes out. We're pretty much almost done with some good looking weather with increasing clouds again coming back in the evening and overnight hours as we go into Thursday into Friday. How about Thursdays for the highs for everybody? Upper 50s to widespread 60s for you. Again, you saw the cloud cover. We'll call it mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. Friday pops into the forecast and away we go. Upper 60s, widespread 70s for you. Yes. All right, even that color looks good, right? Here are a few areas that are, a couple of areas that are going to start to warm up, maybe get a record or two. We'll also see a few more in the mix as well as we get into it here. We also have, as that finishes out, severe weather potential working in the forecast. That's why you don't see me too happy right now, holding on to a slight risk for severe weather working in the forecast. Damaging winds, possibilities of that. We've got those strong gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour. We can also see the potential for heavier rainfall. And, well, we could see a mix of snow trying to get into the forecast. It's still trying to get around from Bismarck, working all the way back towards us. Goes from Omaha, lifts back up to the north, gets a little bit closer to Minnesota, and eventually we'll start to see that come back again. But most of that rainfall starts to scoot out by Chicago and goes more to the east and out of the area, with some of this trying to bring in more snow into the forecast coming in for Sunday. So that's how that all looks out. As we get into it over the next few days, though, we're going to be holding on to this as well, getting into conditions that are going to be taking us into the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. I almost feel like singing a song right now from those types of days back in the day. Here, we'll get into it here, holding on to conditions that play out like this. Rain and snow. Friday night going through Saturday, finishing out going into Sunday with the possibility of a little bit of snow in the forecast, breezy and gusty winds. Those winds will continue all the way into Sunday as well. Be safe out there. Have a wonderful day.
All right, Art, thank you. Well, new this morning, if you're looking to get your Irish on before St. Patrick's Day, you're in luck. Storytellers, musicians, maybe a leprechaun or two are taking over the Pump House this weekend. Here to tell us more about the magic behind Celtic stories and songs is Terry from the Bluff Country Tale Spinners. Nice to see you again, Terry. Good morning.
Thank you very much for having me, and good morning to you.
Yes, so nice to see you. So tell us a little bit about Celtic stories and songs. We understand it's coming up on March 15th.
Right, this Saturday. It's kind of become an annual thing for us, and so we have storytelling. Of course, there will be 7 storytellers, and most of them will be traditional folk tales from Ireland, but one person makes up her own, but she uses Irish traditions and weaves those into her stories. But she also adds Ole, so you know it's kind of to help with the Norwegian end of our area. Then we have the Dublin Daughters that will be playing. It's a trio that plays Irish music. Amanda's Academy will bring Irish dancers to do traditional dance. And then one of our tellers, Tom Williams, and his daughter Quinn sing a cappella. And I mean, they're to die for. They are just excellent. So it's a full night of.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a full night.
You've got a lot of everything. Okay.
Yes, we do. It's all things Irish.
Yeah, you already told us about a lot of things. Are there some other things that are
well, you know, it is at the Pump House, and so there will be Irish beverages plus other kinds if you're not into Guinness. Then we always have some sort of snack. Our members always like to bring food and snack along, and we have a raffle. And so that's also Irish themed. And so there's again, you know, it's like a mini fest. It's just a very nice night. It'll be fun.
A few different things to check out. And so you mentioned the music. Tell us a little bit more about that group and what we can expect music-wise.
Well, the Dublin Daughters, like I said, it's 3 women. They play flute and guitar and sing, and it's always Irish music. You know, a little bit upbeat. They're pretty popular around the area. They're all locals, and yeah, it's a lovely group of people.
Okay, very nice.
Bringing family and kids for that?
Well, you know, it is in the evening, and you know, all of our stories are always, you know, PG-13. We don't, but these are more geared to adults, so they're more adult themed, as opposed to, you know, when I tell stories to elementary students, it's just got a little bit different flavor.
Right.
There would be nothing harmful for a child. It's just, you know, these are there to hit the adult. But
it's not child focused per se.
Thank you very much. Yes.
There we go. Okay.
She does that for me too.
I talk a lot for a living. How do we get tickets?
Me too.
Yeah, exactly. We're in that together. How do we get tickets if we're interested?
This is all at the Pump House, and our tickets are just $15. We're still a real bargain. The doors open at 6. The stories start at 7, but the Dublin Daughters will start at 6:45. Excuse me, to bring you in with a little bit of Irish music, so maybe you can do a little dancing as you're going to your seats.
To get you into the spirit a little bit. Okay, great. We've got some information up on the screens for people at home. So before we go, tell us a little bit about the Bluff Country Tale Spinners, what you guys do, who you are.
The Tale Spinners are a local guild, and it is our mission to help people with the art of storytelling. But we also have listeners there, people that have never told a story, that have been part of our group since we started in '99. Okay. We meet once a month, the second Thursday of the month at the Moose Lodge on Ward Avenue. And we have a business meeting, and we always chat. And then people tell stories, and sometimes they are a brand new story that they just really want some help with, and we give them comments and appreciations. Sometimes it's a story that, you know, I just love the story and haven't told it for a while, and it's already, you know, in its prime, it's all ready to tell. So it's the whole range of things.
Okay.
We welcome anyone to come. It's a very nice evening. At
how can
Maury
people
Avenue.
get in contact with you or learn more?
They can contact me through our website, which should be on these
we had
these
it
things.
there.
And then there's a QR code. Terry Wakuda, she is the one that's sort of in charge of all of our information for the Bluff Country's Tail Spinners. And then they can contact me through my email, which is Tales by Terry. And it's fairy tale, not a dog tail, at AOL.com.
Okay, perfect. All right, Terry, well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for
Nice
having me.
to
Maybe
see
you should
you.
come to
As
a little
always,
bit of Irish.
Yeah,
there
all
you
right,
go.
let's get you in your Irish
All
spirit this
set.
morning.
Wow.
All
Very
right.
good. There's the leprechaun.
There he is. We knew he'd be here. Thank you, Terry. We're back
Thank
after
you.
this. Stay with us.
Coming up on CBS Mornings, tariffs are impacting everything from food to cars, and now happy hour may not be able to live up to its name. We'll hear why brewers are bracing for increased costs to make your favorite beer. Also, three-time Emmy winner Uzo Aduba joins us to discuss her new series, The Residents, about investigating a murder in the White House. And Ghost co-star Rebecca Wasaki will be here to tell us about this week's episode's huge reveal for her character, Hetty. We'll see you at 7.
When my sister was murdered 15 years ago, Brad Schimmel kept his promise to us. He told us he was going to get us justice, and he did. When I see these commercials attacking him, I have a lot to say about that, because Brad would kneel next to my mom and hold her hands. And you're going to tell me that's a person that doesn't care about victims? I'm sorry, that is not true. Brad puts victims first, and that's the type of person that should be in the Wisconsin Supreme Court.
It's tournament time at Osseo Automotive, and the savings are giant.
And so is the selection.
Get giant discounts on new in-stock EVs, like $13,000 off on a new 2024 Silverado 4WD. Get $12,000 off a 2024 Blazer EV, or over $3,000 off and 0% financing on a 2024 Equinox 2RS all-wheel drive.
You'll never see anything this big again.
Giant tournament sales going on now at Osseo Ford, Nelson Gunderson Chevrolet, Fountain City Ford, and Rudy's in Whitehall.
The chips that you like are not on sale this week, so we're gonna have to skip those. Sorry, bud.
Aww. Hi, we're at Woodman's. I'm Clint. I'm Phil. At Woodman's, you don't need a flyer to find hot deals. With our everyday low prices and huge selection, you can find anything you're looking for. And still save big time on your whole grocery bill.
So I can get the groceries I want and save money? Looks like your chips are back on the list. Yes. Thanks, guys.
It's Woodman's.
Make winter fun for your family with Mount Lacrosse. Season passes are on sale. Buy now for next season and ski the rest of this season for free. For 65 years, Mount Lacrosse has been making winter fun. Now's your time to come and see what it's all about. Stop out or visit us online to get your season pass today. Sale ends March 16th.
The News 8 Plus app. Local news on your time.
Okay, let's see. Headlines from News 8 Now? Check. Live updates all day? Check. Local breaking news? Yep. Weather every 10 minutes? Yes, please. Well, that was an easy choice. News 8 Plus. It puts the now in your day. Get it today.
Welcome back at 6:52. Time for your morning news now. A man accused of firing 3 shots at an Onalaska apartment heads to court today. 54-year-old Kevin McDowell is charged with reckless use of a firearm after an incident just a couple weeks ago. The 911 caller told police they heard the argument outside in the parking lot on Broad Street before the gunfire. Responding police allegedly found McDowell acting erratically, which they say was not the first time. Ross County saw a troubling rise in car crashes last year. 3,485 accidents reported, 130 more than the year before. Those crashes resulted in 734 injuries and 8 fatalities, the highest since 2021. The Highway Safety Commission found some disturbing trends in the incidents as well.
43% of all of the fatalities were involved in impaired driving, and then 14% of all serious injuries also involved impaired driving. Other notable illegal driving behaviors include speed and distracted driving and aggressiveness.
Over the next year, the county will work on a comprehensive safety plan. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says his country is open to a 30-day ceasefire in its war with Russia. Secretary of State Marco Rubio led discussions and will present the next offer to Russia. Government officials in Canada backing down now from a planned surcharge on electricity sold to the U.S. after President Trump threatened to raise tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum to 50%. Those are in effect now. The escalating trade war has brought losses on Wall Street and fears of a possible recession. The House passing a stopgap measure 217 to 213 to keep the government running through September. Now it heads to the Senate, where its passage is less certain. If it's not approved, a partial government shutdown will go into effect Friday. Education department offices are closed this morning as massive layoffs loom. The department reportedly could fire up to 50% of its workforce today.
Once again, using a sledgehammer, and they are not doing this at all in a smart way, but mostly this is going to undermine so much of the work that we're doing in education, which is, of course, the heart of the American dream, the heart of the success for so many people across the country, is that we have had the right to education.
Governor Tony Evers is speaking out against the cuts. He says Trump and Republicans are trying to eliminate the department to fund tax breaks for the wealthy. And the Education Department now investigating 60 universities for potential anti-Semitic discrimination, including UW-Madison. Schools could lose federal funding for failing to protect Jewish students. Democrat Rebecca Cook running a third time for Wisconsin's 3rd congressional district. Last fall, she lost to the incumbent Derek Van Orden. Her campaign targets big drug prices, housing challenges, and what she calls Washington's chaos.
Family farms are continuing to fold. Healthcare access and affordability, especially with our 2 big hospital closures here in Eau Claire, continue to create a gap in our healthcare system here in western Wisconsin. And women's reproductive freedoms, frankly, are still very much under attack.
The Wisconsin Republican Party firing back, the chairman calling her a 2-time loser, and says western Wisconsin voters will reject her campaign.
All right, the warm-up continues for us as we go through the next couple of days. In fact, we're going to jump it up a little more so for Friday with very warm conditions and record-breaking heat. Possibility of storms coming for Friday night, though, to follow, and that carries all the way over into Saturday. You can see that bullseye right on top of us right now as we get into Friday. Excuse me, I don't mean to say it right now. We'll get into it here. Mild conditions, warm conditions, then very warm conditions with rain and the possibility of snow in the forecast. Still kind of hedging on that as we go into Saturday night into Sunday early morning.
All right, thank you. A vintage book is now an antiquity of note after being returned to a New Jersey library 99 years overdue. Boston area news stations report that Mary Cooper found it among her late mother's belongings. She could have been facing an estimated $18,000 in overdue fines, but thankfully the Ocean County Library is now fine-free. Instead, is proudly displaying the readable relic in its historical archives. Yeah, I mean, that's impressive. That's a long time.
Oh, I can see
big,
Sister
big
Catherine
fine.
getting on my case about that. Mr. Jared.
You probably still have some books out there somewhere that need to be returned, don't you, Art?
They were in there.
Your fine is like $80,000. They're coming for you, the library. Okay, thank you for waking up with us this morning. We'll see you back here at noon. Have a great day.